Hey guys, Sully the Scourge here. I wanted to bring you an update on the preview server as we're getting closer to the Heart of Fire release. And a big thing just happened here on preview. They updated the master work gear, the master crafting gear. And here's why this is big. They raised the item level of the Chult stuff, the master work 3 technically, uh, to 560, including the artifact gear. So artifact weapons right here, you might notice that its item level is 560, 60 item level higher than the normal one, and this results in a higher base weapon damage. It looks low here because I'm on a warlock and we have low base weapon damage compared to some other classes. But basically, anytime, if you play long enough, you know anytime that they've upped the weapon damage on a set, all the other sets basically became obsolete. So if these changes stick and go to live, which we're really close to Heart of Fire being live on the actual PC servers, this is going to be really big. So to give you an idea, normally this would have a base weapon damage max at of 1,990 on a warlock, and it's 2,315 here. Then of course, it goes up a little bit higher if you exalt your weapons. So the takeaway here is that you might need to start farming more Cradle if you haven't been, to be able to exalt a new set. It actually goes higher than this because if you haven't been following the new crafting system or looking at it, you can actually craft +1 versions. And so the +1 versions of these stronghold weapon sets will actually have even higher base weapon damage than is shown here on this exalted stronghold weapon. So you can get a version of this that's slightly stronger, and from what I've seen pictures of, it does actually increase the base weapon damage even a little bit further than normal here. So this is a big takeaway. The Stronghold Weapon Set 2 was really popular a couple of mods back with this set bonus. Because right now a lot of people are running Primal, they're taking their 10% and being happy with it, their 10% DPS increase. And you can replicate that if everyone in your party here is using a Stronghold weapon set. So if everybody makes the move, which the base weapon damage increase is likely to cause a lot of people to do, you don't really lose out on that percentage DPS. But again, it's getting everybody on the same page. How many people actually buy into the set? But as of right now, because it upped the base weapon damage, it's a really big increase. I'm gonna switch over to the armors now because the armor similarly went up to 560. This is more important for some classes than others. The clerics were a big user of the masterwork armor a couple mods ago, because their one had power as a main stat, recovery as a secondary stat, and I forget the third one. But here, that gear got even better, and it also has the good equip bonus. It's probably not as good as the hunt gear, and it's going to be definitely more expensive than the hunt gear. So, a couple of classes might care about it if all they care about is base stats, but the main thing I want to cover are these rings because the rings a lot of people are currently using, and they also got upgraded. And not only did they get their base stats upgraded, they also got equip power. So I'm gonna go back to the tank one here and just go through them in order. They seem to be geared toward bosses. The equip bonus is always when you're only in combat with one enemy. Here you gain deflection on basically the tank ring. On the beaded restoration ring, you get more recovery on top of it already having a high recovery. If you're wondering how much the stats increased, uh, normally this ring would only have 543 power, so it's an increase of 110 on the secondary stat, and normally it would only have 814 recovery, so it's an increase of 150 some on recovery roughly. So you're getting a couple extra hundred along with the equip bonus. Here's the Bronzewood Raid Ring. When only in combat with one enemy, your power is increased by 1,000. So this is interesting because a lot of people are using the Gravestriker rings. It's not really known whether it's intended for rings to work on companions. If you're an old player again, there's a whole lot of controversy because Thunderdark rings used to work and then they took it away, and then they've released some rings that do work and some that don't. So whether or not these will work on companions is anyone's guess, and even if they do, whether or not that's intended and they might remove that feature. But a lot of people are already using these rings on their companions anyways, or already own these rings, so they're going to be just a flat power increase, stat increase for a lot of players as soon as the mod drops. And here you have the Beaded Assault. I didn't want to miss that one. And this one focuses on crit. You can see it gives crit and armor pen. So these will be good. Like I said, a lot of players already own these rings. Um, those best in slot players might wait and have to buy a new one because they might want the +1 versions of these rings, which will probably be pretty rare and expensive. But for a lot of players, they're just going to be happy that they gained a little bit of strength here and there. Similarly, the Mastercraft neck and waist got increased. I'm going to cover here just some of the more popular ones. So clerics tend to like these again because they're really focused on getting as much power as possible. And here's the high power necklace, the Fang Beaded Amulet. Um, Let me look up what the normal power would have been. So right now, on live, it's 1,400 power. But if these changes go through, it's going to be 1,750 power. So that's going to be an additional 350 power for powering sharing. Again, I want to caution people, this is the preview server. Things can be changed, but this is what the devs seem to be looking towards doing with the game. And to just cover the crit and recovery on this also, normally the crit and recovery are at 879 each, so you're also getting additional stats there as well. I'll cover the waist that clerics like the most here just for you. Again, I'm focusing on clerics because uh, traditionally they're the main users of these sets, although you might see some other classes start moving towards them. Again, a lot of DPS is still on the Orcus set, but here with another 60 item level to both a waist and necklace, now, like, I believe the Orcus set is 405 gear, and it's the set bonus alone that's trying to make it compete with this 560 now gear. And so these base stats keep getting higher and higher as the Orcus set gets a little bit more outdated each mod. But here's the Beaded Sash, 1,750 power again. I believe the waist is only 1,400 power. So you're picking up an extra 350 power both on the necklace and the waist than it was in the previous mod for power sharing. The older sets did get updated. Here's the old Stronghold weapons. As you can see, excuse me, I'm coming down a little bit sick here. But as you can see on the Fartouch Pack Blade, where it shows the weapon set bonus, there's +1 versions. For whatever reason, this isn't coded. It doesn't seem to be coded right because it's coded 4 times here, and it's not coded at all on the Chultan version of the set, the stronger version. But I just wanted to show this to show you that +1s should be available. I've seen pictures of them on the other main Masterwork gear that people are going to be using. And they did go back and update the old Manicore Masterwork 2 year so that they had set bonuses. I don't think this used to all have set bonuses. But combined with the fact that they went back and gave set bonuses to the old gear, they gave set bonuses to the rings, which didn't used to have them. It seems like a good future for the Mastercraft gear because they've basically said that it's going to have equip bonuses from now on to make it sure it's competitive. There's a couple of last things I wanted to cover. Let's see if I can get to it. They did introduce power kits back into the game. And the one thing I wanted to show you was that there are +1 versions. I don't own any, but last time I checked, somebody was selling one on the market. Let's go to consumables here, type in 1. So this isn't uh, the major power kit, this is the mid-level one, but here you can see a +1 kit. Normally this kit would only grant 100 power, but because it's +1, it gives 110. Normally it only gives 20 item level, because it's a +1, it gives an extra bit of item level too. So what this means is there should be +1 versions of the major power kit, which would be basically 220 power and a 4 extra item level, maybe. I'm not exactly sure, but there's going to be stronger versions of power kits. So a lot of people were worried where they would stand with the new profession changes, and so um, there should basically you're going to get the same, if not better, um, versions. The last thing I guess I will cover is with these changes, a lot of people are going to want this gear, and the big question is, should you buy it now and wait for it to be updated, or should you wait and try to get a +1 version? I don't really know what advice to give you on that. Um, it all depends on supply and demand. It'll probably vary depending on how much what platform you're on, how much raw resources are on that platform, how many people are farming them, putting on the market to sell them, how many actual crafters there are, because the more crafters there are in a market, the more prices get driven down. I will say with the +1 versions, it might feel bad that there's going to be really expensive +1 versions of all the different weapon sets, of all the armor, but you shouldn't. I think everybody can profit a bit off of that, because if people are paying a premium for those +1 versions of the weapons, that means that all the normal versions that get crafted, they're kind of fails. Not in the sense that, they're not usable, but that they're not the premium item. Uh, what's going to happen is those are going to sell for a bit less than they normally would. So the fact that there's +1 versions means also that there's going to be kind of the cheaper, more mainstay normal item. So it's going to be a little bit easier maybe for people to buy into it. It's hard to say because these are some really, really big changes coming. Uh, but yeah, it's something to get excited for. Again, you might feel bad if you don't already own these items, having to upgrade yet another set, spending more refinement points. But if you're farming, if you're playing the entire mod, 2 to 3 months, and you're not actually upgrading anything, then the market becomes oversaturated anyway, so they kind of need to give you something new to rank up. So yeah, those are my thoughts. I hope you found this video helpful. If I see any more big changes, I'll try to bring them to you. But thanks for watching.